Hello and welcome back to This Week in 23 Sports. I'm Lauren Michelson, here with my co-host Jonathan Freeze.
Welcome back to TW. This week we have a full plate ahead of us, so let's dive right on in.
Last week the Tigers traveled to Nashville to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores, and it seemed like Mizzou fans from all over made the trip with them. And it makes sense because the Tigers were hot as they entered the game on a 5-game win streak.
Yeah, all 5 of those games came at home, so the Tigers have not had to leave Columbia since August. But regardless, Tiger fans seemed very confident that the Tigers would pull out a win over the Commodores.
That's right, Jonathan. The team hadn't seen a road game since, Wyoming. And welcome to the road, Mizzou. The Tigers fell to the Commodores 21-14 on Saturday. I would ask what went wrong, Jonathan, but really, what didn't go wrong? Did the Tigers just get too comfortable?
I think the Tigers were very comfortable going into this game. I think they knew that they were 21-point favorites headed into the game. And you cannot play like that whenever you know you're a favorite. You cannot get comfortable because, the offense struggled. Kelly Bryant only went 13 for 26 at passing for 140 yards. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The passing game was non-existent. It was very poor. It was not good. Even Derek Dooley said we weren't really good at anything today. And, you cannot win an SEC football game whenever your offense is struggling like that.
Especially if the coordinator said that they
had
much to do with it.
Exactly. The Tigers were only able to convert 3 of 15 third down conversions. Tucker McCann missed 2 field goals. There was just undisciplined play all around. They had a total of 12 penalties. It was on both sides, offense and defense. It was just a frustrating day for Tiger fans.
Yeah, Tyler Gillespie was ejected from the game for targeting a call against quarterback Mo Hassan with the Commodores, which resulted in Hassan leaving the game due to concussion protocol. Overall, I think that Coach Odom said it best with this quote that states, "We got outcoached." I think we got out-coached and executed the entire first 4 quarters.
Yeah, he hit, he got that 100% right. They were outcoached, they were outplayed. It was just 100% disaster. I think everybody, players, coach, everybody knew Vanderbilt was not a very good team going in. So that overall, they just got way too comfortable and came back to bite them. Mm-hmm. That's really what it was at the end of the day.
Well, the Tigers are again on the road this weekend to face a struggling SEC East team. After a disappointing loss, all Mizzou can really do is look ahead. However, this matchup sounds all too familiar from last season.
Yeah, so the 2 square off Saturday under the lights for a 6:30 p.m. kickoff in Lexington. Mm-hmm. I think it's hard for the Tiger fans to forget last year's 15-14 heartbreaking loss on the final play of the game. Untimed. Oh, it was heartbreaking. So. But Lauren, can Tigers kill this pair of bad memories?
I mean, both teams are coming off of tough losses, with Kentucky going down to Georgia 21-0 in Athens. Though its first 7 games of the season, the Wildcats are allowing about 23.3 points per game, ranking 47th in the nation, and scoring just 20.1 points per game, 114th in the nation. Kentucky is battling with their quarterbacks as well, kind of a little carousel between the 3 of them.
Oh my goodness, yes.
UK starter Lynn Bowden Jr. completed just 2 of 15 passes for 17 yards in the shutout loss to Georgia. The former wide receiver was also pressed into action after a season-ending injury to starter Terry Wilson and former backup Kayler Smith.
Yeah, Mizzou will also be without starting safety Tyree Gillespie, who had, like Lauren said earlier, the targeting call against Mo Hassan in that Vanderbilt game. Due to the targeting rules, he will be out for this game. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, But I think that the Tigers can overcome his absence because the Wildcats are very one-dimensional on offense. Mm-hmm. Like their quarterback was 2 for 15, and he was a former wide receiver.
Crazy.
If the Tigers cannot overcome that and win this game,
it's going to be a disappointment.
It's going to be very disappointing, and I think that we all really need to start questioning
Barry Odom's leadership.
Barry Odom and this whole season. I think this game definitely should be a win for the Tigers. I think that they're going to come out ready to roll and be more focused. So we're just definitely going to have to see what happens, though.
Yep.
So in replacement of Tyree Gillespie, the Columbia native Martez Manuel will start in his place. He hasn't gotten a lot of playing time this year. He did get some time against Southeast Missouri State in a 50-0 win. You know, so everybody got to play in that game. But so I'm kind of nervous to see how he will do. Like I said, though, I do think that the team as a whole will overcome, his absence for this game. And then also quarterback Kelly Bryant and wide receiver Jonathan Nance will have yet to take part in this Mizzou-Kentucky matchup. So neither of them know how big this matchup is.
I think they're ready to win one for the team, though.
I agree.
I mean, my prediction is Missouri 29, Kentucky 23. I'm hoping the Tigers can maybe put an end to this bad karma they've had in Lexington.
Yeah, I think after last week's loss, I think it will wake them up, maybe even if it's just a temporarily awakening. I do think that they will be ready to go, refocused, rejuvenized, and really just ready to roll overall. I think Barry Odom's going to make sure he's not going to get out-coached. I think the team's going to make sure they're not going to be outplayed. I think Kelly Bryant, the whole offense as a whole, will come out ready to go, and I think the defense will be more disciplined. So I see Mizzou actually winning this one pretty easily in a 34-16 victory in Lexington.
All right, well, let's see where those predictions lie. That's all we have for Mizzou football for this week, but stay tuned as we will update everyone on big news surrounding the border war. In other news, the University of Missouri announced Monday that it has agreed to a renewal of the men's basketball rivalry with the University of Kansas, in a tense and time-honored tradition dubbed the border war by fans. What do you think about this, Jonathan?
Well, I know Mizzou's campus has been buzzing all week over the excitement about this. And for the excitement, we brought on a 23 staffer, Kayler Smith, to talk about the big news. Kayler, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
I know, Kayler's from Kansas City as well, so a little bit of that border rivalry, we live right on it. I know, coming from a family of all Jayhawks, I'm definitely excited to bring the rivalry back to my family.
And see, it's crazy for me coming from Southeast Missouri. I never saw any Kansas fans. Never. There's nothing.
You're
but
lucky.
Mizzou.
Yeah.
You're lucky.
I know. I've always heard that people from Kansas are the worst.
All right.
That's just what I've heard. I don't know. I'll learn.
You're talking to two girls that are from Kansas.
Well, I know. There we go.
We chose Whiteley.
Hey,
Yeah,
at least you guys
Whiteley.
came to the good school. That's all that
We did.
matters. Came to the good one.
Yes.
We did. So Kayler, I know you did a recap recently on Monday talking about this huge event. What can you say about us?
Yeah.
To that?
So this is definitely a huge deal for Mizzou and Kansas. They've been without this rivalry for 8 years now after Mizzou left the Big 12 in 2012. But they're set to take off on December 12th, 2020. In the Sprint Center in Kansas City, and then the following 4 games will go back and forth between Lawrence and Columbia, and then it'll finish off again in Kansas City in 2025.
So was that a 6-year plan they have all lined
Yes.
up?
Yeah.
We don't know the dates quite yet for Columbia and Lawrence, but how awesome that they're playing somewhere where 2 cities can just meet in the middle in
Definitely.
Kansas City Sprint Center.
And there's a huge fan base for both teams in Kansas City, so they're going to be having a big showing there.
Oh yeah. I know personally I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
I know Jayhawks men's basketball coach Bill Self historically has been against the resumption of the rival. I always give my brother 10KU a hard time for that.
Yeah.
And because they left the Big 12, it's kind of just like he didn't want anything to do with us Mizzou fans.
Well, I can't really
He's scared.
blame him. Yeah, well, maybe. I don't know about that one. I think we need to pump the brakes on that because, they do own the rivalry.
Yeah.
They have 172 wins to our 95.
Yeah.
So I think, I'm not sure he's scared. I think the fact that he just doesn't want to help us out. I think that adding...
Sounds like a typical Kansas fan.
Yeah.
You tell me. I don't know about those guys. You tell me.
Yeah, this is definitely a big deal for Mizzou, though. They've been without a rival for 8 years now. They're trying to find their identity in the SEC still, and it's just not really working. Those rivalries between them and Illinois and them and Arkansas never really had footing. So this coming back is definitely a huge deal for Mizzou and gives the fans something back that they needed.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I see this helping out Mizzou in so many different ways. It brings back rivalry. It brings fans' interest back to it. Honestly, it can help with recruiting even. Players, when they grew up seeing big games like that, they want to play in those games. And right now, Mizzou just doesn't have that go-to game that they can say, hey, we can put you in this game that you grew up watching. And I think the fact that they brought it back is going to be a phenomenal thing. I really think it's going to help the program grow.
Absolutely.
It's gotten great press from Mizzou athletes, students, KU Mizzou athletes, students alike. Everyone's just excited about this. I don't think anyone's had one bad thing to say about bringing it back. if anything, it just gets people geared up to buy the tickets in
They're fired
advance.
up.
Exactly.
More
exactly.
attention to Mizzou and KU ball both
Yeah.
ways, which is really exciting
Yeah.
for both programs.
I know for me personally, I'm really hoping that this can be more than just a basketball thing.
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
that
yeah,
if we can get this in football, women's basketball, volleyball,
We can definitely get it in
keep
football.
growing it. Oh man, that's gonna be a fun time, and I really think that that's something that they need to look into, and hopefully it can get done. I think that's regardless of who wins, that's gonna help out both schools tremendously,
Absolutely.
and it's just a fun rivalry that's gone back 105 years
Oh,
or
yeah.
Yeah.
many years, but way before we were around. So I really hope that they can bring it back, because it will be successful.
Barry Odom definitely has vocalized that he wants to see Mizzou and KU going head-to-head in pretty much every sport. He likes the rivalry, and I think his enthusiasm with the help of athletic director Jeff Long over at KU, they got Bill Self to kind of agree to this.
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
Well, of
it's-
course, Barry
Well-
Odom wants to play him in
well,
football.
Oh, yeah.
I think also there's a little motivation on Kansas' side of bringing some good news to their fans, because right now they're in a little bit of trouble in the
Right.
basketball program on that whole bribery and
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
on the NCAA.
Mhm.
So I think that was kind of one of those things of, hey, here's this bad news that's been holding us down for a while, but let's show the fans some good news and take that bad press away from us for a minute.
I really think this was a shock to most people. There was
It
no
was.
leaks or anything.
Yeah.
Nobody saw this
No.
coming.
Yeah.
It broke, and everybody's happy
Yeah,
about it for the
I know.
most part.
Perfect timing,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I know here in Columbia we've seen nothing but smiles and energy about it. Everyone's just pumped and ready to go.
Because ultimately, when it comes down to it, usually record never mattered in the
Yeah.
games. Like both teams
Oh,
played
yeah.
hard. It was a hard-fought game every year. So
Oh yeah, for
it's
sure.
definitely exciting either way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who's ranked and who's not.
But yeah,
Teams hadn't met since 2017 in that exhibition match to raise $2 million for hurricane relief.
Mhm.
That shows how much fans truly love
oh
this
yeah, and that was
rivalry.
just an exhibition game. And I remember when tickets went on sale for that game, they were
They
going
sold
like
out.
that.
The
Sold out in
general
10
public,
minutes.
Yeah.
the general public didn't even have the opportunity.
Yeah, so
to buy them.
that shows that this is a great opportunity,
Yeah.
and I'm just ready to be a part of it as a student here at
exciting.
Mizzou,
Absolutely.
and I'm just ready to see it grow, and hopefully it can stay around for many years to come.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
That's
have
what
a
I
lot more to talk
Mhm.
about in the next few weeks as more rolls out, more times, dates for those games in Columbia and Lawrence. Hopefully we'll all be purchasing way in advance.
Oh yeah, we'll have to.
Well, that is all we have for this week in 23 Sports. I'm Lauren Michelson.
I'm Jonathan Freeze.
I'm Kayler Smith.
Kayler, thank you for coming on once again, and that's all we have for you guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week.